What is going on? What is going on, Knicks Nation? Welcome back to Knicks Media. My name is Richie, and we had some unfortunate news break this morning. Yeah, you guys already know Isaiah Hartenstein is signed with the Oklahoma City Thunder for a 3-year mega contract, $29 million a year. This one stings. As you all know, I've been live here on Knicks Media all throughout this free agency process, hoping and holding out hope and trying to bring Isaiah Hartenstein back with the Knicks, but that is not what happened. And now the Knicks must pivot, and now we must figure out the replacement for Isaiah Hartenstein. As you can see from the title and the thumbnail, Goga Bitadze from the Orlando Magic is the guy I really want the New York Knicks to bring in desperately. Right now, we're doing a simulcast on YouTube and Bleacher Report on Knicks Media. Shout out to everybody tuning in. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Monday. Last night was the start of the NBA free agency window. We had a lot of news around the NBA. It was quiet, right? When 6 p.m. came yesterday evening, nothing happened until, 4 in the morning? I mean, we had Chris Paul go to the Spurs. We had a lot of little moves, but then the big blockbuster, the big move that happened in the middle of the night, 4 in the morning, Paul George signing a max contract with the Philadelphia 76ers. And then we wake up this morning, and then Isaiah Hartenstein signs with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I want to start off with this about Isaiah Hartenstein. I do not blame him. I know that some Knicks fans are going to be upset with this, but at the end of the day, Isaiah Hartenstein, this is his first opportunity to get paid the big bucks, and probably his only opportunity, because he cannot miss out on a chance to make $29 million for 3 years and still have an opportunity to win an NBA title, because let's not forget the Oklahoma City Thunder were the #1 seed in a tough Western Conference last year, losing in the second round. They're trying to get back to the promised land, and Hartenstein wanted to get paid, and he wanted to win. Those two things is what Hartenstein obviously prioritized. The only thing the Knicks could have offered was that 4-year, $72.5 million contract that, according to Ian Begley of SNY, the Knicks offered him immediately when the NBA Finals was done. So obviously the Knicks wanted him back, but they knew it was going to be tough because a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder was going to offer him the bag, which they did, and Hartenstein took it. I was holding out hope, but now we have to pivot. What will the New York Knicks do from here on out? So let's get into the news, and let's get into what we can expect from here. So according to Ian Begley, here's the latest news regarding the New York Knicks. Told free agent big man Precious Achiuwa has received interest from several contending teams and remains open to returning to the New York Knicks. Knicks obviously are in the market for a big man. Following Isaiah Hartenstein's departure, they should have access to a $5 million taxpayer mid-level exception. So this is definitely big news. I know I made a video yesterday about all the roster moves, and I talked about the Knicks not picking up Precious Achiuwa's qualifying offer, which makes him an unrestricted free agent. Now, there is still an opportunity for the Knicks to bring him back, and the only way they were able to bring back Precious is if simply Hartenstein does not return with the Knicks. Now, it gives the Knicks an opportunity to potentially bring back a Precious Achiuwa. I would definitely welcome him back. I think Precious was a big piece of that Knicks team in that late regular season run to get them to that 50-win total. Let's not forget who stepped in when Julius Randle went down at the 4. It was Precious Achiuwa. Who stepped in when Mitchell Robinson went down? It was Precious Achiuwa. And I think that I would love, I mean, you cannot argue that bringing back Precious Achiuwa would not be a big get for this Knicks team. Now, a player that I would definitely be open to bringing in is a Bitadze from the Orlando Magic. And the reason why I'm really high on a Bitadze is because of the reason that he is what fits this Knicks team the most out of all the players on the open market. He's also cheap. He's not going to cost a big price. He's a former first-round pick of the Indiana Pacers back in the 2019 draft. My favorite part about Bitadze's game that kind of reminds me of a Hartenstein is he is pretty good at passing the ball. Now, it's rare to have a big man to be able to pass the ball like Isaiah Hartenstein did. That's what made him special, and Bitadze's not as good as a Hartenstein, obviously, when it comes to being a facilitator, but he has an ability to do it. He has some feel of the game where if someone's going to, cut back door and he's got the ball in the low post, he can dish it down low. He can kick it out to the open shooter. He's also a very good rim protector. The one thing that he's not as good at Hartenstein is definitely his rebounding. He is a solid rebounder, but we saw Hartenstein be a dog on the glass. That's the difference there. So the Knicks have to pivot to a Bitadze. There's a lot of other options as well for the New York Knicks. So I'm really, really curious to see what the New York Knicks do when it comes to this upcoming free agency, okay? I don't know other names out there. Andre Drummond, unfortunately, is going back to the Philadelphia 76ers. So obviously the New York Knicks are not going to be bringing in him. Jonas Valanciunas is off the market as well. All the players that I saw Knicks fans want to bring in to this Knicks roster in replacement of Isaiah Hartenstein is gone, besides Bitadze from Orlando. That is the guy I think Knicks fans should definitely bring in. And the one thing I also want to remind you guys is this. Tom Thibodeau got the most out of Isaiah Hartenstein. Why can't he get the most out of the next big man? Okay, I have so much trust in head coach Tom Thibodeau and in this entire Knicks organization and the Knicks coaching staff to develop and to put whatever player they bring in to replace Hartenstein to be their best self. Now, another thing I have to say is, can we stop forgetting who Mitchell Robinson is? Now, I get it. The injury is a concern. I am not going to deny that at all, okay? I'm not going to deny that the injuries is a concern for Mitchell Robinson, but he is a force to be reckoned with when he is healthy. I totally get that the injuries is something we need to keep in mind, but a healthy Mitchell Robinson starting with Brunson, Bridges, Anunoby, and Randall is a dynamic starting five. We need to get another veteran off the bench, and then we still have Jericho Sims, and we just draft Ariel Hukporti from Germany. So this is not the ideal scenario. Knicks fans' dream was to bring back Hartenstein, bring back OG Anunoby, and then the sprinkle on top was to get Bridges. But now the Knicks have to pivot, and let's be honest with ourselves as well. I mean, this guy Hartenstein, he's getting paid like a superstar. He's getting paid $29 million. You know who that's more than? That's more than Jalen Brunson. Brunson's getting paid an average of $25.9 million annually. Hartenstein's getting paid more. That's all you need to know. I mean, you can't really fault Hartenstein. Shout out to LaSalle in the chat. I appreciate you tuning in, my man. Now, I think the biggest two names that Knicks fans have to keep in mind to replace Hartenstein is simply bringing back Precious Achiuwa or going after Bitadze from the Orlando Magic. The thing I like about Bitadze's upside is, again, his ability to be a facilitator, his ability to be a rim protector. He's also young, so it's not like we're signing this veteran that we know who he is. There's still some upside and maybe some untapped potential to his game. Hey, maybe the Knicks signed Bitadze, and then all of a sudden he becomes the next Hartenstein. Let's not forget as well, Hartenstein did not have a good start to his career with the New York Knicks. In year number one, a lot of Knicks fans were upset. A lot of Knicks fans did not like Hartenstein. They did not feel like he was doing what he needed to do. And even Hartenstein himself went to the media and held himself accountable. He said, I feel like I'm letting the city of New York down. And ever since Hartenstein said that and he held himself accountable, the Knicks fan base rallied around him, and then he woke up and became the monster that Hartenstein became. And I think the coaching staff and the teammates around Hartenstein and the overall culture that Leon Rose and Tibbs have created here with the New York Knicks was allowed Hartenstein to develop into the player that he became and blossomed into the guy who just secured the bag. So why can't us Knicks fans be optimistic that the next player we bring in is going to have an immediate impact to win basketball games for the New York Knicks? We have a lot of talent on this Knicks team, and we know the core and the anchor of a Tom Thibodeau team is defending the paint, is being a rim protector. I get all of that. And, of course, let's not forget what made the Knicks the best team in the NBA in this certain category is second chance points, getting the offensive rebounds. We're going to miss that from Isaiah Hartenstein. But guess who's literally the best offensive rebounder in the entire NBA? Yes, Mitchell Robinson. When he was healthy for the first portion of this past season, he had like 30 more offensive rebounds than the next best player in the NBA. That's how good Mitchell Robinson is. And I need to make sure Knicks fans understand who Mitchell Robinson is as a basketball player, because you have every reason to be skeptical about him staying healthy. But let's not pretend Mitch is a scrub and Mitch is all of a sudden not a good basketball player. He was the one who neutralized Joel Embiid in the playoffs. By the way, we still need Mitch to match up against Joel Embiid now that they just landed a Paul George. Let's also not forget 2 years ago in the first round of the playoffs against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah, Brunson was a factor, but Mitchell Robinson dominated that series, getting all the second chance points, protecting the rim, dominating Mobley and Jared Allen down low. People are forgetting the value of Mitchell Robinson. And that's what I keep trying to remind people. Now, it's up to Mitch to stay healthy. Now, he went on social media, Mitchell Robinson, and said that he only 2 of the 6 seasons of his NBA career is where he missed half the season. Now, he does have a point, but at the end of the day, if you're coming off a season of missing 50 regular season games and then going into the playoffs and getting hurt again, people are going to be skeptical. People are going to be skeptical. Lascelles in the chat says, wait on if we are going to do more trades this offseason. Huge rumor that we are, but nothing yet. But you take all rumor with a grain of salt. That's a Brooklyn Nets fan saying that, by the way, not a Knicks fan. Thank you, Lascelles. I appreciate you. I'm honestly disappointed that Isaiah Hartenstein is not coming back 100%. I'm disappointed. I'm not going to lie. But at the end of the day, I trust that this Knicks team is going to get the job done this season, regardless of what just happened, okay? So, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. We're doing a simulcast here on Bleacher Report and on YouTube. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Monday. Let's go over what happened across the NBA and what into the rest of the league, okay? I think Chris Paul going to San Antonio is a lot of fun. I think that's going to be really good for the NBA. I think having a borderline Hall of Fame point guard at the end of his career going to San Antonio to help out the next generation of a Victor Wembanyama, that's going to be fun. I mean, is Chris Paul going to lead the NBA in assists this year? I could definitely see that. Also, Paul George going to the Philadelphia 76ers. We kind of felt like that was going to happen ever since Paul George opted out of his player option with the LA Clippers, and we found out that he's not going to come back with the Clippers. The Sixers were the front runners. There were some other teams out there like the Nuggets or other teams that were rumored to land PG-13, but eventually it was obvious that he was going to Philadelphia. They gave him that contract. The Sixers also re-signed Tyrese Maxey to a mega deal. They also brought back Kelly Oubre. They also signed Eric Gordon. They also brought in Andre Drummond. So the Sixers are making moves. They're definitely up there. I think it's the three-headed monster of the Celtics, the Knicks, and the 76ers. Those 3 teams are going to be competing the most for the Eastern Conference Finals and going into the NBA Finals, of course. Now, other teams that are wild cards are the Orlando Magic, who shocked the world last year, had a really good season. The Cleveland Cavaliers, the Miami Heat will always be in it, even though they're kind of really interesting. I love their draft pick, by the way, of Ware, but I don't want to give them too much love. But outside of that, I mean, maybe the Indiana Pacers. Obviously, you cannot forget about the Pacers after them beating us. I know the injuries were an issue for the New York Knicks, but the East is definitely interesting right now. The Western Conference is loaded. It's locked. I mean, I think that the trade for Murray going to the New Orleans Pelicans is going to be a lot of fun for the Western Conference. I think that the Oklahoma City Thunder getting Alex Caruso and landing an Isaiah Hartenstein is going to make that team even better. So there's a lot of opportunities for the New York Knicks to help out this backup role. But let's remind ourselves, we have our starting center, and his name is Big Meech. We got to find a backup, and behind our backup center, we have Jericho Sims, who's entering year number 4, and then we just drafted a rookie, Ariel Hookporty. You never know what can get out of a second-round pick who is a 7-foot man, big-time body that can protect the rim, be a high flyer, and you never know what Tom Thibodeau can do with that. Now, I think that the New York Knicks are going to be fine. Now, I also don't want Knicks fans to be upset with Hartenstein. I mean, you cannot fault the man. In my opinion, you cannot look at what Hartenstein did and be upset. I mean, you could be, I get it, but I'm just not. I'm definitely not. He took the bag, and he has a chance to win in OKC. Now, the latest news from Ian Begley of SNY, if you missed it, is that the Knicks are still in the mix to land Precious Achiuwa back. Now, we talked about this on my video yesterday, saying that the Knicks did not pick up his offer, and he's officially an unrestricted free agent. But now, Ian Begley is opening up the opportunity for the Knicks to bring back Precious Achiuwa, which I definitely think is a big-time thing. Shout out to Ian Begley of SNY. Does a great job covering the New York Knicks. You guys can follow him at Ian Begley on Twitter. Also, here is the latest news of what the Knicks missed out on. So the 3-year, $87 million deal with OKC confirmed the most the Knicks could offer was a max of 4 years, $72 million. Knicks offered that max as soon as they could make the offer per league source. Okay, now here is the big update that Ian Begley reported earlier today. Let's read this together. As you'd imagine, this was a tough call for Isaiah Hartenstein. He loved his teammates, energy of the fan base, the city, the opportunity for the Rays, OKC 3 years, $87 million, and the Knicks could only offer 4 years, $72 million, while maintaining chance to compete for a title was a factor. Per people familiar with the decision, if another cap space team was that was rebuilding made this offer to Hartenstein, it might have been a different outcome. Knicks did everything they could to keep Hartenstein and made the decision so hard for him. Per people familiar with the matter, it was not an obvious decision for Hartenstein. Even at the salary OKC was offering, remember Hartenstein was on $1.7 million deal a few years ago. If Knicks weren't limited by the early birds rights rule in the CBA, it's fair to assume they could have kept Hartenstein. So let's blame the new CBA for the Knicks not being able to retain Hartenstein, if anything, because the Knicks literally were capped and were not able to offer anything more than a 4-year, $72 million contract. Like, that's kind of ridiculous that the CBA capped the Knicks at that. Now, that's the reality of the situation right now. I totally understand Knicks fans being upset. I'm upset. When I saw that news, I got heartbroken. I was heartbroken, and Knicks fans should be heartbroken too. But I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think this is the end-all, be-all. I don't think this is a chance for the Knicks fans to start, forgetting about what the Knicks just did in this NBA offseason of trading for trading for Bridges and extending OG Anunoby. Okay, I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. I think that what the Knicks have done in this offseason still puts this Knicks team up for the NBA title. That's what I wanted to make sure Knicks fans get an opportunity for. Now, let's talk about this man right here. Let's talk about this man right here. Because I think Knicks fans need to open up their perspectives on this specific player on your screen. Because I think a Bitadze, like we talked about at the top of the show, fits the mold of what the Knicks are looking for in a backup center. He is very good at facilitating. He can rim protect. He's 26 years old. He still has upside. I think this is the guy the New York Knicks must target. Because you look at the rest of the NBA free agents, there's not a lot of guys at the center spot. Valanciunas is off the board. Andre Drummond's off the board. Plumlee is gone. And Bitadze is still available. And I think that the Knicks have to be aggressive and offer him a deal like something that is going to bring him to the New York Knicks. Now, another thing that people need to realize is what made the Knicks so different this past season, again, like we talked about, is the second chance opportunities. It's the offensive rebounding, and Mitchell Robinson is the best offensive rebounder in the NBA. Now, let's also talk about the defensive versatility and the defensive lineups that we can run out there with Bridges, Anunoby, and Mitchell Robinson, and maybe Deuce McBride and a Josh Hart or something like that. The Knicks have a defensive lineup that is better than any team in the entire NBA. And it starts with OG, it starts with Bridges, and Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson has all NBA defense and defensive player abilities. He just has to stay healthy. Now, maybe the Knicks' brand new hire of sports medicine can come in here and help the Knicks out and be like, hey, you're actually going to maybe stay healthy this season. Because if you look at Mitchell Robinson's NBA career so far, I'm going to pull it up because I feel like people are just assuming that this guy has been injured his entire career with the New York Knicks. Okay, so if you look on your screen right now, here is Mitchell Robinson's career. Okay, so in his rookie season, he played 66 games. In year two, 61 games. Not bad. I mean, you're talking about, a guy who's known to be injury prone. I understand. But then the 31 games, that's where he really had that. I think he had an ankle injury. 72 games where we were the 4th seed. And then 59 games and then 31 games. So if we can get Mitch to play 60-plus games this year and be healthy in the NBA playoffs, that's what we need the most. That's what we need the most. He's also extremely efficient from the field. Remember, he broke Wilt Chamberlain's record for 74.2 field. Oh, no, I think it was this one. 76 field goal percentage. Was it this year? And he's also putting up multi-blocks per game. In his rookie season, 2.4 blocks. I mean, for his career, 8 points, 70% from the field, just under 8 rebounds per game, and just under 2 blocks per game. So Mitchell Robinson is here, and I want Knicks fans to rally around our guy Mitch and stop worrying about the injuries, because the Knicks will make a depth move, and it's up to Mitch and it's up to this Knicks organization to rally around our guy Mitchell Robinson, who, by the way, is the starting center. The reason why he was not starting in the playoffs is because he got hurt, and Hartenstein stepped up as the starting center and played so well enough that he became the new Knicks starting center. I think that the Knicks fan base should look at this team and have confidence in the coaching staff to figure it all out themselves. Now, there's also a guy, another team out there in the Milwaukee Bucks that I definitely forgot about. You're right, Kelvin, in the chat. I definitely forgot about the Milwaukee Bucks. I do think that we stack up against every single team in our conference. We stack up well against every single team. There's other big men like Mo Bamba that I heard Knicks fans talk about that they could bring in. I don't know. I mean, you talk about the Bronx native coming in here. As a backup player behind Mitch, I can't complain. I think that the Knicks still have an opportunity to compete with the Boston Celtics even without Isaiah Hartenstein. Because let's be honest with ourselves. Isaiah Hartenstein is the best player on the Knicks if he came back. We have Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, OG Anunoby, Bridges, Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, Mitchell Robinson. I mean, this Knicks team is so deep that I don't want the Hartenstein news to just all of a sudden break the hearts of Knicks fans and think that we're done. We're not. We are not. Also, expect the Knicks to play small ball this year. I don't expect them to start the season off with the starting 5 of a small ball lineup, but I can see Thibodeau get creative and play small. And the reason why they can afford to play small is because of the length that they have. They can play Bridges, Anunoby, and Randle and Josh Hart on the court together, and they will get rebounds. Now, the rim protection will be iffy. The good thing is Bridges and Anunoby, they can match up 1 through 5. They can match up 1 through 5. Will they be dynamic? I'm not too sure. But I think a lineup, for example, of Brunson, Josh Hart, Anunoby, Bridges, and Randle, that lineup can work. I don't think that will be a starting 5 at all. I'm not saying that should be the starting 5. I'm talking about during the game, Thibodeau runs that lineup out there to play fast and have elite wing defenders and have some shooting. Maybe you sub out Josh Hart for Dante or Deuce for more defense or for more shooting. But Josh Hart I like in there because he's a guy that's just literally the best rebounder on the Knicks, and he's 6'4", which is kind of ridiculous. Now, I also am going to ask Mr. Jericho Sims to wake up this year because we all like Jericho. Jericho Sims, he has upside. He's entering year number 4. He hasn't really reached his full potential. But the thing about Jericho Sims that I'm waiting for is to him to show some fortitude, to show some more like confidence that I've arrived. Okay, that's the thing about Jericho Sims that I'm still waiting for. And I don't want Jericho Sims to be in the rotation to start off the season. I don't. Now, as a backup for a injury to somebody, maybe. Just maybe. I am very intrigued by the Bitadze opportunity, though. The Bitadze opportunity for the Knicks is definitely intriguing, and it should get you Knicks fans excited as well. Because, now listen, the Knicks didn't even sign this man, Bitadze. He did not do that. But I do think that a Bitadze is a guy that Knicks fans can definitely wrap their minds around because of the facilitation and the rim protection and all those intangibles. You talk about this Knicks lineup, and you talk about what Leon Rose did here. They did everything they possibly could to bring back Isaiah Hartenstein. They did everything. The CBA prevented the New York Knicks to bring back Hartenstein. They were capped because of the early bird rights at a 4-year, $72.5 million deal. And the Oklahoma City Thunder blew him away with an offer of $29 million. You can't complain about that. So now the Knicks must pivot, and let's believe in our Mitch, and let's believe in the Nova Knicks, because the Nova Knicks, minus Bridges, were the reasons why we went as far as we did in the playoffs. without Mitchell Robinson, without Julius Randle, without Bogdanovich, without OG for a stretch, the Knicks went to Game 7 of round number 2. This Knicks team is built to sustain injuries. And I know that Hartenstein is the heart and the soul, at least it felt like, of this team from a rebounding standpoint, from a playmaking standpoint, but the Knicks will fill that void. I am not looking at this and thinking it is the worst possible thing. The Knicks literally landed Bridges and re-signed OG. We're fine, Knicks fans. We are fine. I'm here to tell you everything will be okay. Do not allow this Hartenstein news to break your opportunity to be optimistic, because a healthy Mitchell Robinson will put the New York Knicks at the top of the NBA in offensive rebounding and defense. That's a fact. That is a fact. Do I have to remind you guys? And I said it at the top of the show. Mitchell Robinson led the NBA in offensive rebounding by a large margin last year before he got injured. For the people that saying Mitch doesn't have an offensive game and he can't shoot, guess what? He does not have to. We do not need to rely on our center to shoot. A Tom Thibodeau center is Mitchell Robinson, the old school way. Go down low, get dirty, get grimy, high flyer, second chance looks, offensive rebounds, putback dunks, alley-oops, feeding him down low, putting in standing dunks, blocking shots, rim protecting. That's what a Tom Thibodeau center needs. That's what he needs. And just to get a big man off the bench that can fill in like 17 to 18 minutes a game. That should be Bitadze. I fully expect the Knicks to pivot to Bitadze and sign him today or tomorrow. That's my prediction. That's not I'm not saying I have any sources, but at the end of the day, the Knicks fan base and the Knicks fans should definitely go in to this offseason after the news of Hartenstein going to Oklahoma City and expect the Knicks to target a Bitadze. Now, again, like we already talked about, Precious Achiuwa still has an opportunity to re-sign with the New York Knicks. Okay, so as of right now, the front court for the Knicks, Mitchell Robinson, Jericho Sims, Ariel Hook-Porty from the NBA draft. If we sign Bitadze, that's 4 big men. 4. I'm not really looking at the center position as that much of an issue. I'm not. You look across this team, Brunson will give you 28. Randall will give you 24. Bridges will give you 20. Dante will give you like 17 a game. Josh Hart will do the grimy work. OG Anunoby will give you 16 a game. We have scoring, folks. Balanced all across the team. That's the beauty about it. Do not think of this Hartenstein situation as we're going to miss out on a scoring opportunity from the big man spot. That's not what we asked for our big man. And I need Knicks fans to remind themselves, who was Isaiah Hartenstein before the Knicks signed him? No disrespect to Hartenstein, but who was he? He was a journeyman center who played for 6 teams in 6 years. The Knicks welcomed Hartenstein with open arms. He developed into the system, and he became the player he is and got paid. That's okay. Why can't the New York Knicks do that again with the next best player that they bring in? Why can't they do that? They got Hartenstein paid the big bucks. Why can't the Knicks bring in a Bitadze and get the most out of him and have him have a breakout season for the Knicks? Knicks fans need to realize this is not the old Knicks. We actually have men running the organization that knows what they're doing. We actually have coaches that know how to get the best out of their players. It's time for Knicks fans to start realizing Tom Thibodeau is a very, very good coach. Very good coach. So that's why I'm not worried. That's why I trust Tibbs. I trust Johnny Bryant. I trust the Knicks coaching staff to whoever they bring in to replace Hartenstein, that they will get the most out of him. And you should feel that way too, Knicks fans. You should feel that way too. Obviously, whoever we bring in to replace Hartenstein is not going to be as good as Hartenstein. You can't replace him. But there's still an opportunity here for the Knicks to bring in somebody to provide an impact enough to help this Knicks team win basketball games. Folks, we're going to wrap up the show here on Bleacher Report. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you shoot me a follow at Richie Malora. We'll be live all throughout the week breaking down the New York Knicks news. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on Bleacher Report. Have a great rest of your day. Peace. All right. The show has ended on Bleacher Report, but the show goes on YouTube. What's good, everybody? What up, YouTube chat? We were just live on Bleacher Report as well as YouTube. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button for your boy. We have 450 plus people watching on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button if you're enjoying the show, guys. The show goes on here on YouTube. I just signed off on Bleacher Report, but we're still live here on YouTube. Let's get it going. Sorry about that. Let's go. All right, chat. Let me know what you guys got cooked up. Let me know what you guys think about what to expect on the horizon for these New York Knicks. Now, for some reason, there's a glitch where I can't put your guys' chat on the screen. But I am reading. I am reading the chat. Folks, we got 91 likes. Let's get this over 100 likes. If you guys are enjoying the show here, don't forget to hit the like button. Also, we hit 13,000 subscribers on Knicks Media. Thank you guys so much for all the support on Knicks Media. Cannot thank you guys enough. It's been a joy to cover these New York Knicks this past week here on Knicks Media. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel right now, Knicks Nation. I'm pumped up. I think that Bitadze is going to be a part of this Knicks organization by the end of the day. That's my prediction, and that should be your prediction too. All right? That's how I look at it, and that's how you should look at it too. Hit that like button, folks. Let's get this to over 100 likes. Let's do it. I mean, there's not really too much else to talk about. We talked about enough, so maybe I'll just wait. Maybe I'll just wait until the Bitadze news breaks. Maybe I'll just wait. All right? You never know. You never know. I think it's either Precious Achiuwa or Bitadze that will be a New York Knick by the end of today or tomorrow. That's my prediction. That is my prediction. All right? So, we're going to wrap up the show here. Just want to go live for an extra minute or two, even though we wrapped it up on Bleacher Report. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I will keep you guys up to date on all the news. The Knicks are not trading Deuce McBride. That rumor about him getting included in the Bridges deal is not happening. That was a potential not happening. Do not get that in your mind. Miles Bridges, you guys are confusing me. Deuce McBride is not going anywhere. Miles McBride is a New York Knick. The Knicks are going to pivot and use their money to bring in a backup to replace Isaiah Hartenstein. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name is Richie from Knicks Media. Thank you all for over 100 likes, and thank you all for 13,000 subscribers. Cannot thank you guys enough. Peace and love as always. My name is Richie. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.